Welcome back to Elevation 44. I'm B. For those of you who are new here, welcome to the channel. And if you're returning, welcome back, family. Today I am diving right into another weekly astrology report because it's Monday. And that's what we do here on Mondays, okay? So if you're new to this channel, just know that I bring you these weekly reports every Monday so that you can see what energy we're dealing with for the week, okay? So you know how to navigate this energy and you can utilize it to your best advantage, okay? So you can make it work for you and not against you. So that's what these reports are designed to do. I don't go into everything because if I do, the video is going to be way too long. So I just try to bring the most important things that you should be paying attention to for the week, okay? And these are collective energy readings based off of the astrological transits, where the planets are sitting at a particular time during the week. So I just wanted to give a brief overview because I know this community is growing and we have lots of new people that are joining on every week and may be unfamiliar with how we do things here, okay? And another thing I want to welcome you to do is leave, comments down in the description box. This is a community where we're meant to learn and grow together. So talk to each other, help each other, share information, share how you're feeling. No judgment zone. This community has been incredibly sweet. People have been very helpful. I read how you guys correspond with each other and it really just warms my heart. So don't be afraid to, chat in the comments down below on, how these energies are impacting you or things that you find helpful to navigate, okay? So I'm talking too much. Let me get right into the weekly energies. And so there's two things that I want to highlight this week that are happening that are pretty major. The first is that Mercury, not even saying it, I'm already starting, y'all, with this, that. But Mercury is going to be going retrograde, okay? And that is happening on Tuesday, October 13th, all right? So Mercury retrograde is going to be, eventful, like it always is. And it's going to be even more so eventful because there are just a lot of different things at play at this particular time. The other thing that we're going to talk about for the week is that the new moon is happening in Libra, and that will be happening on Friday, October 16th, okay? So these are the two major things happening, and they're also, having conversations with the other planets in terms of some of it being conflict, some of it being tension, some of it being harmonious. So we're going to discuss what these particular, what that new moon is going to be doing with some of the other planets and how Mercury is going to be communicating with the others as well, okay? So the Mercury retrograde starts, like I said, on Tuesday, and it will be going until November 3rd, okay? So this is election day in the US, so Mercury's stationing back direct on November 3rd, a day where everybody's going to be, voting, and they're going to be doing all types of stuff around the presidential election. That's going to be very interesting in itself. But the energies, whenever you have a planet that is turning direct or turning back to go retrograde, that is when that day or when it's stationing is when the influence is felt the heaviest, okay? So when you have all of the things that come along with a Mercury retrograde, which tends to throw communications, information, travel, and all of that stuff into kind of a whirlwind, technology, all of that stuff into a, kind of a tailspin, that's when the energy can be felt heaviest on that particular, in that particular arena, or where these mishaps tend to be more influential, okay? Even though it's happening during the entire retrograde season, it definitely is just felt much more intensely around those stationing days. And so that's going to be, again, I'm going to tell you guys so you can write it down, October 13th, which is Tuesday, and November 3rd, which is election day in the US, okay? Now this retrograde is happening 11 degrees Scorpio, okay? So 11 degrees is, 11 is a master number, and it is also a gateway. It signifies new beginnings, okay? So that is already something to keep in mind with this retrograde, and what is happening with it and the degree that it's happening at, okay? Now, like I said, Mercury is literally how we process information and share info. So again, it rules our communication, our technology, our information, it rules travel. And this is a time where the results of all of those things can be very unpredictable. Just, things kind of go haywire, right? Because Mercury is the fastest moving energy or planet in our little solar system bubble right here, right? And so it is on the go. It's fast moving. It is, moving. It's booking it. But when it has to then come backwards, right, and retrace its steps, it's like you're stumbling over your feet. Like if you're trying to walk backwards really, really quickly, you're going to stumble. And so that's kind of what is happening when Mercury goes retrograde in any sign, okay? Now, with it being in Scorpio energy is all about transformation. It is death, rebirth, transformation. It is about that death process so that there's something new that can be rebirthed, or something anew that can come out of it. It is also the energy of hidden things. It's definitely energy that is tied with more of like the darker aspects, more of the occult, more of just deeper psychology, hidden truths, deeper emotions. So with Mercury being in Scorpio, we talked about this in a previous video. It's really especially as it's backtracking, wanting to, pull up some stuff, right? It wants to bring some stuff to the surface that's hidden, okay? So this is a time where information-wise, a lot can be revealed. Things are coming up to the surface, okay? It's also on the flip side got its negative qualities, because control and manipulation and power are also very, very Scorpio ingrained, right? And so these are the qualities that can come out also with this. So it's finding a balance between the two individually, but also keeping in mind that collectively we're also going to be feeling both sides of the equation, okay? Now, during this particular retrograde, and we did discuss this, I think, 2 weeks ago in one of these weekly astrology reports. We talked about how the retrograde, when Mercury goes retrograde, it's going to be backtracking and going back into Libra, okay? And Libra is all about justice, fairness, balance. It's all about, evening the scales. And we've been talking about balancing the scales this entire Libra season. But, this is really interesting, because as it is going back, because the Mercury retrograde is already saying, hey, this is a time to slow down, to pay attention to the details and get into like the nitty gritty, because Mercury, again, is so fast moving. It's always on the go. Sometimes you tend to skim over a lot of the details that need to be, really paid attention to. So when it goes retrograde, this is a time to slow down and pay attention to those details. But then it being in Scorpio, it's uncovering stuff, right? It's wanting to dig stuff up, research, bring things to the surface. And then when it goes into Libra, it's definitely demanding justice and, for whatever is brought up at that particular time. So there are things that can be coming to the surface news-wise, information-wise, not only in your own individual life, but on a collective scale, that we'll be seeing and feeling and having to deal with collectively, that we need to keep in mind, okay? So this is not really a great time for making important decisions or moving quickly on things. This is a real time to slow down and to be receptive and to pay attention and to allow things to come up to the surface and to be revealed, okay? Transit-wise is that Mercury is going to be opposite Uranus and Taurus when it's stationing, okay? So this is very disruptive in the sense that Uranus is literally all about disruption. It's all about change. It's all about freedom, unconvention. It's all about, breakthroughs and that type of stuff. But when you already have this unpredictable nature because Mercury is retrograding, and then you have that conflict with Uranus being opposite Mercury that's retrograding, you have that double dose of energy of that unpredictability doubling down, okay? So this really is a time for you to stay flexible, because you're not only will the communication be unpredictable and wonky and all over the place and fast moving and changes, you know, just kind of, it's a time where we can slow down, but Mercury still wants to go fast, even while it's going backwards. So this is a time where we can still be trying to rush through things, but it's not what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to slow down, stay flexible, because things will be unpredictable, not only in our communication, but also in our thought processes, all right? So the way that we're thinking about things, we can have those thoughts like racing in and out, and it's not a time for us to be making any major decisions on anything, but to just be observing and literally, you know, allowing ourselves to download and receive during this time. So I would definitely keep that in mind as this retrograde is happening, especially as things are playing out on the world stage, but also for your own individual sanity and mental health, to know that your thoughts will, you know, likely be going up and down during this time. And it's probably a good time to, you want to make sure that you keep an ear to the street and know what's going on, but to really disengage in the news, because that is going to be very unpredictable as well. And lots of information is going to be thrown at you that cannot be, you know, trusted, especially with this Scorpio energy, all about this, you know, manipulation and domination and control. You know, there are tactics that are used through the media to do that, even though there are things that come to the surface that are truthful. So being able to discern and being able to know when to disengage and to protect your energy during this time will be important, okay? So the other thing that Mercury will also be doing while it's going retrograde this week, it's going to be sextiling Venus in Virgo. And this is actually a positive boost, because you know, the other transit, the way it's talking with Uranus is that there's bringing in unpredictability, but the way that it's talking to Venus, that there's a harmony happening here. And Venus is lending its influence in terms of bringing in peace and harmony, just kind of like a peacefulness to more so your closest relationships, your intimate relationships. So this is a great time where you can find yourself bonding or having opportunities to bond with those that are closest to you and kind of go a little bit deeper in terms of your bonding or your relationship experience, especially with Mercury being in Scorpio, which is all about those depths of emotion and going beneath the surface. So you can use this energy or this particular transit in order to deepen those bonds. So Mercury retrograde is not all bad, even though it gets demonized a lot of the times. There's a lot of positivity that can be found in it, even though there are some challenges with us. We're just going to have to keep in mind this unpredictability factor. But there is an opportunity to uncover a lot of hidden things, to do research, to slow down, to rest, to take our time to receive information, and to, you know, kind of help and deepen some of the bonds in some of our relationships. So there's a lot of positivity, just, you know, as there is negativity. So it's all about finding the balance within the two. So the next thing that we're going to talk about, and then we're going to go ahead and wrap up this video, is that there is a new moon in Libra on Friday, okay? So this new moon in Libra is happening at 25 degrees. And it's interesting because the last new moon in Virgo also happened at 25 degrees. And this is when it's at these later degrees, it's expressing the more mature energies of that particular sign. So again, you know, it's like we're gearing up for a graduation of some sort, all right? So I'm not going to go too deep into it because I'm going to have an entire new moon video, which is coming out next, so stay tuned for that. But this new moon is going to be an excellent opportunity to set intentions around bringing in balance in your life, okay? Not only balance in terms of, you know, the outer and inner selves, right? our outer and our inner needs, but it's also a wonderful opportunity to bring in balance between the divine masculine and divine feminine energies within each of us. And I'm not talking about gender, I'm talking about masculine and feminine energies that exist within each person, okay? So, the goal of this is to come into, the goal of life is also to come into balance, to balance out these two energies, to work for you, for your healing, for your growth, for your ascension. Is balancing out these energies and not being too far skewed on one side or the other. So this is an excellent opportunity, as we're getting ready to exit out of Libra season, to do this final balancing or tuning, okay, and coming into equilibrium. The new moon, and a new moon is nothing more than when the sun and the moon conjunct, right? And they're blending their energies. But this new moon is going to be opposite Mars, and Mars is retrograding. We've been talking about Mars every week. It's retrograding in the sign of Aries. So again, this is an emphasis on self-love versus love for others, okay? So selfishness versus selflessness, okay? That is literally the theme that is going to be highlighting. And then the new moon will also be squaring Saturn, Pluto, and Jupiter in Capricorn. So, and this is all talking about our structures, the power and control, and then Jupiter has been expanding that, and it's been disrupting and tearing down everything we know in terms of that for 2020. So with it squaring these planets in Capricorn, that doubles down and brings some heavy tension. So what's happening is there's a T-square happening, which is nothing more than like a 90-degree angle between three signs, literally kind of having like like a battle, like a show off. There's a tension happening between the three, right? So the three signs that we have Aries, which is where Mars is hanging out. We have Capricorn, which is where Jupiter, Saturn, and Pluto is hanging out. And then we also have this new moon that's sitting in the sign of Libra. And these are all cardinal signs, right? Air, fire, and earth, okay? But what's missing? Cardinal water. That is the fourth element that you need to bring in to help harmonize and balance everything out. And that's why the tension is happening in the first place, okay? So that means diving into our intuitive, nurturing natures, that cardinal water energy, bringing that in to help there. So there's going to be high tension because of this T-square and what the new moon is doing with all of these planets, and power struggles are still going to be at the forefront and heightened even more, okay? So just, keep your eye out for that and watch for that during the week. And that's just kind of going to be the theme going forward for the next couple of weeks. I said October and November were going to be particularly tough. And, this is just kind of the energy that we have to deal with, okay? So the pros or the good positive things for the week is this is a great time to plant new seeds for balance. It's a great time to focus on self-care, but also thinking about ways that you can pour into others as well, okay? This is a great time for quiet reflection and rest and reception because of that Mercury retrograde, telling us to slow down, pay attention to the details, don't go too fast. So let's look at the fine line, okay? And then this is also a great opportunity for bonding in your intimate relationships. The challenges of the week is that it's going to be a high tension week, like I said, especially with that T-square happening with, Mars, the Capricorn planets, and the new moon. So there's going to be unpredictability. There's going to be, unpredictability in terms of our communication, our thoughts and news. This is not a great time to be making new decisions. Again, this is a time to be pausing, reflecting, and waiting, okay? And seeing what comes up. And then also this is challenging energy because of the manipulation and power struggles that are really, really high right now. So that is literally what's happening in terms of energy and what to keep in mind for the week. The herbs that I would recommend you working with this week are two herbs that will be mentioned also in the Libra new moon video. One of them is a meadowsweet and the other is thyme, okay? And these are peaceful, balancing herbs, but then the thyme also brings in a protection quality to it, because at this time we need to be protecting our energy. There's just a lot going on. The air is, charged. The energy is highly charged charged in the air right now, and energy protection is definitely should be at the forefront of everybody's minds as they're navigating throughout their week. So these herbs will also help you in that aspect, okay? And then the crystal that I would recommend working with this week is a rose quartz, and that's going to help you tap into that love frequency, especially when we're talking about this working with this Libra new moon, and it's going to help also balance, not only tapping into that love frequency, but the balance of the love frequency of love for self and love for others, okay? And then coming into balance in a healthy space with that. So those are literally the herbs and crystals that I would recommend working with this week. That is it. I don't have anything else for you. I will see you really soon for the Libra new moon video, so stay tuned for that. So I will see you all in the next video really soon. Peace.